Hallo graad 12, hierdie is die laaste 5 slides van ons kort verhaal. These are the last 5 slides of our short story, so it should be very quickly. So as you know now, Len is in Amersfoort and he's speaking to the barber and his friends trying to figure out what went wrong with Robbie. Hulle vertel die storie, tydsaam. Elkeen met sy eie perspektief. Hulle hak vas, stry oor onbenullighede, dwaal af, kom weer terug. Verslag die waarheid met wys en vaaghede. Daar was 'n pa, Robbie de Wee, Wollie, 'n beneekte man, kwaad vir alles en almal, 'n slaaner van vrou en kind en arbeiders. En skimp hulle wasig en met ompaaie die gerugte van molestasie, sodat Robbie 'n verskrikte kind was, inkennig en stil, maar altyd so met die gitaar in 'n hoek iewers. En die ma het nooit haar gesig enige plek gewys nie, want dit was gewoonlik pimpel en pers. They tell the story leisurely, each one with his own perspective. They stop, argue about unimportant details, digress, come back, soften the truth with wisdom and vagueness. There was a father, Robbie de Wee, Wollie, an angry man, angry with everything and everyone, a hitter, of wife and child and workers. And they imply with unclear detours the rumors of molestation, so that Robbie was a frightened child, timid and quiet, but always with a guitar in a corner somewhere, and the mother never showed her face anywhere, because it was usually bruised. En toe, so 8 jaar gelede, of was dit 9 of 7, hulle kibbel en stry voor hulle tot die punt kom, het Wollie de Wee net verdwyn. Soos plateaurand mis vir die son, die polisie het teesinnig gesoek en geen spoor gekry nie. And then about 8 years ago, or was it 9 or 7, they bicker and disagree before they get to the point. Robbie de Wee just vanished, like fog on the edge of the plateau before the sun. The police searched unwillingly and found no trace. Oh, wrong slide. There we go. 2 jaar later is hy doodverklaar, daar in Pretoria se hof. En wanneer ek dink dit is die volle verhaal, as Corrie my afborsel en bepoeier voor ek kan keer, sê hy. Toe word dit natuurlik 'n plek waar die manne gaan aandoen, net om te hoor of die weduwee alright is. 2 years later, he was declared dead. This is now Robbie's father, there in Pretoria's court. And when I think that it is the whole story, as Corrie brushes me down and powders me before I can stop him, he says. And then, of course, it became a place that men visited, just to see if the widow was all right. So here, guys, Uncle Corey is implying that Robbie's mother frequently entertained male suitors. So she was a bit of a loose woman, or a woman of loose morals. Op pad terug Pretoria toe bespreek ek 'n vlug na Kaapstad oor die foon, waar Robbie se volgende konsert gaan wees. En ek oordink dit alles. Hoe die foto van Clarissa Maria Blom, die vermiste vrou van Kimberley, die insig gebring het. Want sy is die een wat die meeste lyk na die lang, skraal Marie de Wee, wat haar donker hare, haar verweerde aantreklikheid en sagte mond. Hoe dit alles pas by wat ek vanoggend op die internet gelees het. Die een faktor wat alle navorsing uitwys, is dat die meerderheid van reeksmoordenaars trauma tydens hul kinderjare ervaar het, veral fisieke of seksuele misbruik. Ek weet nou ek sal vir Robbie die gans wat die goue eiers lê met keer. On my way back to Pretoria, I book a flight to Cape Town over the phone, where Robbie's next concert will be. And I think everything over. How the photo of Clarissa Maria Blom, the missing woman from Kimberley, brought the insight. Because she is the one who looks the most like the tall, skinny Marie de Wee, with her dark hair, her worn attractiveness, and her soft mouth. How it all fits with what I read on the internet this morning. The one factor that research shows is that the majority of serial killers experience trauma during their childhood years, especially physical or sexual abuse. I now know I will have to stop Robbie, the goose that lays the golden eggs. I don't know if you guys know this, but this is actually a very popular idiomatic expression, the goose that lays the golden eggs. So in this case, it's Robbie's talent. It's like a golden egg. It's worth a lot. Let's continue. Ek maak die hotelkamer se deur oop. Len, sê hy, tegelyk verbaas en vol blydskap. Ek staan voor hom en kyk na die engelgesig, die deernisvolle oë. Ek kan maar net wonder wat hulle gesien en beleef het. Ek voel in die oomblik weersin en 'n verterende empatie vir hom. Hy frons. Wat is verkeerd, Len? Ons moet praat, Robbie. Ek sien die proses, die begrip wat oor hom daal, 'n tamheid wat sy gelaat en lyf laat ineenkrimp. Kom in, sê hy sag. Nee hier nie, Robbie. Ons kan nie die kans waag nie. Ek lei hom na die huisbak en dan op na die hotel se dak. Hy kom gedwee saam, sy blik afgewend. I opened the hotel room's door. Len, he says, at once surprised and filled with joy. I stand in front of him and look at the angel face, the compassionate eyes. I can only wonder what they have seen and experienced. And in the moment I feel apprehension and a consuming empathy for him. He frowns. What's wrong, Len? We have to talk, Robbie. I see the process, the understanding that comes over him, a weariness that comes to his face and makes his body shrink in on itself. Come in, he says quietly. Not here, Robbie. We can't take the chance. I lead him to the elevator and then onto the hotel's roof. He comes along meekly, his face turned downward. Met 'n asembenemende Kaapstad en die sprankelende see as uitsig, sê hy, ek kan dit nie help nie, Len. Ek verstaan dit, Robbie. Ek huil, nou elke keer. Het sy geweet, Robbie, toe jou pa jou misbruik het. Hy kyk ver na die horison, hy knik klein. Met woorde wat amper wegwaai in die berg vind, sê hy, sy sê sy skiet hom vir my. Hy tel hom. Ek moet hom begrawe. Wat het jy met die vroue gedoen op Uppington en Nelspruit en Kimberley? Ons het gery met een van die kombies in die veld in. En toe begrawe jy hulle, weer net die knik. With a breathtaking Cape Town and a sparkling ocean as view, he says, I can't help it, Len. I understand it, Robbie. I cry after each time. Did she know, Robbie, when your father abused you? So he's asking now if Robbie's mother knew that his father abused him. He looks far away at the horizon. He nods, small. With words that are nearly blown away with the mountain wind, he says, then she said, she shot him for me. He lingers. I have to bury him. What did you do with the women in Uppington and Nelspruit and Kimberley? We drove out with one of the minibuses into the field, and then you buried them. Again, just a nod. So now the truth comes out. Ooh. En Sasha wou nie uitry nie. Sy was te haastig. Hoe is sy dood? Ek het haar versmoor met die kussing. En toe weet jy nie hoe om van haar ontslae te raak nie. Toe bel jy my. Ek is jammer, Len. Ek is ook jammer, Robbie. Ons staan lank so teen die veiligheidsmuur in stilte, tot hy sê, ek weet van jou dinge, Len. Jy het mense verneek. Ek het. And Sasha didn't want to drive out. She was in too much of a hurry. How did she die? I suffocated her with the pillow. And then you didn't know how to get rid of her, so you called me. I'm sorry, Len. I'm also sorry, Robbie. We stand like that for a long time against the security wall in silence until he says, I know about your things, Len. You cheated people. I did. Ons het mekaar nodig, Len. Nee, Robbie. Ons het nie. En dan stamp ek om. We need each other, Len. No, Robbie, we don't. And then I push him. Okay, so just now Len murdered Robbie. He pushed him off the roof. What? Plot twist. Okay, and now our last, final paragraph of this short story. Voor die flitsende kameras en die freneties skrywende journaliste lees ek die verklaring. Oorlede Robbie het aan depressie gelei. Ek het tot my groot spyt nie besef hoe akuut dit was nie. Hy het in die afgelope weke toenemend middernagtelike oproepe na my gemaak. En ek het aanbeveel dat ons na mediese behandeling kyk, wat hy geweier het. Sy woorde was, dit is waar die belades vandaan kom. Is dit waar dat sy serie nou die topverkoper in die land is? Vra een, voor ek kan klaarmaak. In front of the flashing cameras and the frantically writing journalists, I read the statement. Deceased Robbie suffered from depression. I had to my great regret not realize how acute it was, in other words, how serious it was. He had in the last weeks more and more frequently called me in the middle of the night, and I recommended that we look at medical help, which he refused. His words were, that is where the ballads come from. Is it true that his CD is now the top seller in the country? Asks one, before I can finish. Okay, so dit is ons kort verhaal. Wat dink julle?